the hazard here is the goal net's being left out when playing. It's a trip hazard, and the probability of it happening is probably 2. So if you're playing sports around it, it's quite likely you're going to trip over the post or even the net. The severity is probably a 1, because you're only going to come out with maybe a minor bruise or scratch. So that means the risk score is a 2. The control measure for this would be to either pin the net up, so therefore the trip hazard is not there, or if possible move the balls away from the area that you're playing in. So we've got the risk here, which is the tram line being too close to the wall. The probability this has a causal effect would be a 2. If this game being played on here, someone's going to push the ball, tripped into the wall, bang the head. So the severity is also probably a 2. That makes the risk score 4. Therefore, the control measure that I take is to inform the participants how close the tram line is to the wall at the start of the session. However, if this isn't preventing the effects happening, I would create a new tram line, perhaps about 2, maybe 3 yards away, with a set of cones. So the rest of it we've got here is litter being on the floor. The probability of a trick being caused by the litter is possibly a 1 or a 2. And the severity is only a 1, because if you're tripping up a piece of litter, you're only going to come out with a minor bruise or maybe a minor scratch at the most. So that makes the score either a 1 or a 2. The control measure that will be made to stop the risk happening is place all litter in the bin at the start of the lesson, and make sure notices are provided all around the area. The risk that is being outlined here is the door being left open. The probability that this is going to cause a hazard is 2, as the door is quite close to the area of the play. The severity of the risk is 2. Also because if the players are running in and they hit the door perhaps with the head, it could cause a serious head injury. That makes the risk score 4. The control measures that will be taken is to make sure the doors are shut at all times. If this isn't working, stopping the risk, a coned area will need to be laid out to mark an area to keep away from the door. The risk that has been outlined here is spillage of water on the area of play. The probability that someone's going to slip on this water is 2, because if the play is being played around it, it's very likely someone's going to slip. The severity of also be a 2, because if someone's going to slip on the water, it can easily land on their head, or land on their arm or legs, or possibly break their nose. This makes the risk score 4, and the control measure that I would take is to make sure all surfaces are clear before participating in sports. And if the area is too hard to clear, cone the area off before starting those sporting events. As being outlined is the fire exit block by bags. The probability of this happening is 1, because if the fire breaks out in the building, it's very likely to happen. The severity of 3, so it could stop exiting from the building, which could cause death or extreme injury due to fire. Which makes the probability score 3. The control measure that I would take is that I make sure all bags, all objects that are blocking the fire exit are cleared for any practical sports played, and also outline to all the participants that all objects and bags need to be kept away from the fire exits and kept clear. The risk that is being outlined here is goalposts, well, the goals altogether. The goalposts more because due to them being metal, they are a huge risk, as if you're tripping up, or perhaps tripping up before you get to the goals, you could possibly hit your head on the post, which could cause serious injury. So the probability of this happening, I've got is a 2, because they are fairly close to the playing field, and the severity is a 2 also, because if it hits in your head, it can be quite serious. So that means the risk score is a 4. The control measure that I would take is that I make sure all nets are tucked away. The goals are as far away as possible from the area of play if not used. So you can see the goals around here are quite scattered around, so if a game was being played in the middle court, the goals need to be pushed back away from the area of play. So the risk that is being outlined here is the defence being fairly close to the area of play. The probability of an injury being caused by this is 2, because if a player is tripping, lands head first or puts their hands out into the fence, it could cause injury. The severity is also a 2. So if you're going with your head, you could crack your skull, or with your hands, you could easily break your fingers. So therefore the severity is also a 2, so that makes the risk score a 4. The precautions I'd take is outline how close the fence is to the area, and then also if this isn't happening, if this isn't working, I would outline a different area of play further away from the fence. So the risk that's been outlined here is litter on the floor. The probability that someone's going to get injured from this is fairly low, so I'll give it a probability score of a 1. The severity of this risk is also a 1, because the most you're going to come out of this is maybe a minor bruise or a minor scratch or a burn from the AstroTurf. The precaution I'd take for this is make sure before I start the session all litter is cleared up and put into the bins provided, and also outline to all the participants that all litter needs to be put in the bin and not left around. The risk that's been outlined here is the lights on the facility. The risk is that if the lights aren't working and the facility is being played on at night, this could mean that this area is being fairly dark, causing a risk of tripping or not knowing where you are, so you're running into a fence or a goalpost. The probability this is going to happen is fairly low, so I'll put it at 1. The severity, if it does happen, is 2, because obviously you can be running into objects and injuring yourself. This means the risk score is also 2, but the safety precautions that I would take for this would be to service the lights regularly and make sure that the lights are always in working order. Another risk that I've outlined is the playing surface. The playing surface can cause really bad friction burns on the skin, so therefore the probability of this happening would be 3, because if you're playing a game, say football or rugby, if you're diving or sliding in for a challenge, friction burns are going to be caused very easily. The severity of this is a 2, because it's not going to injure you so bad that you can't stop playing, but it's going to cause sore burns, so therefore it's a probability of 2. So therefore the risk score is a 6. The precaution I would take is outline this to all participants before starting the event, so therefore they know that if they are going to slide, they know what the consequences will be. Or you could make sure the participants are wearing Under Armour protective gear, so it's a skin, legs and arms, so when they are sliding the friction burns aren't going through to their skin. Another risk I've outlined is the weather conditions. If the weather is raining, the participants can carry on playing sports, but you've just got to be careful because the surface can become slippery. If there's snow and ice, make sure you section off the ice and snow before playing, or if there's too much to section off, you'll have to take the session inside. If there's thunderstorms, you can't play outside, so therefore the sessions will be have to take inside. The probability of these happening are quite low because weather conditions are usually okay, so the probability is a 1, but the severity if you are playing in bad conditions are a 3. So therefore the risk score is a 3. The conditions that I would take as a measure to try and control this would just be to make sure you keep an eye on the weather.